Getting Things Done by David Allen. Picture this. You're fumbling around in the dark, desperately reaching for a flashlight. You flip the switch and nothing. Dead batteries. Sound familiar? Now here's what's really interesting. When did your brain decide to remind you about those batteries? Was it last week when you strolled right past them at the store? Of course not. Your mind, in all its quirky wisdom, waited until this exact moment, standing in the pitch dark, utterly helpless, to whisper, "Hey, buddy, remember those batteries you needed?" Thanks for nothing, brain. This tiny moment of frustration, it's actually a window into something much bigger. There's a problem quietly humming in the background of your life right now, draining your energy like a slow leak, creating this nameless stress you can't quite pin down. It's the problem of having a mind that's constantly full but never truly clear. Think about your world for a second. The emails stacking up, text messages pinging, that brilliant idea you had in the shower, the permission slip your kid needs signed, the promise you made to your boss last Tuesday, and underneath it all, that gnawing feeling that you're forgetting something crucial. It just keeps piling up, doesn't it? Most of us deal with this flood by turning our brain into makeshift headquarters. We store our to-do lists, our worries, our genius ideas, all of it, right there between our ears. But what if your brain is actually terrible at this job? It's an incredible place for creating ideas, sure, but for holding on to them, absolutely awful. This is the breakthrough insight from a man who spent decades helping some of the world's most successful people get out of their own way. His name is David Allen, and his book, Getting Things Done, The Art of Stress-Free Productivity, isn't just a book. It's become a movement, a lifeline, a practical manual for staying sane in the 21st century. For over 20 years, Allen worked as an executive coach at places like the World Bank and the Ford Foundation. He wasn't theorizing from some ivory tower. He was right there in the trenches, standing at messy desks alongside overwhelmed professionals, helping them dig out from under mountains of their own commitments. What he discovered was something universal, a set of surprisingly simple habits that could transform chaos into control, anxiety into focused calm. Today we're diving into that system together, and I promise you this, by the time we're done, you'll understand the secret to what martial artists call mind like water. A mind that's calm and clear, ready for anything, responding to life with just the right amount of force before settling back into perfect stillness. This isn't about cramming more into your day. It's about completely changing your relationship with work itself. It's about actually getting things done so you can finally be free to enjoy what truly matters. Let's start with something simple but powerful. Most of the stress weighing on you right now doesn't come from having too much to do. It comes from all those promises you've made to yourself that you haven't kept. Really think about that for a moment. The project you swore you'd start. That phone call you keep meaning to return, the closet you promised yourself you'd finally organize. Every single one is an agreement you've made with yourself. David Allen calls these open loops or incompletes. They're anything pulling at your attention because something's unfinished or out of place. And here's where it gets interesting. Your mind, brilliant as it is spectacularly bad at keeping track of these open loops. It has no real sense of past or future. So the moment you think, I need to buy cat food, part of your brain assumes you should be buying cat food right now, all the time, every single minute. Add a second task, like prepare for that big presentation, and you've just created instant internal conflict, because obviously you can't do both simultaneously. Your brain works like a computer's RAM. It's designed for active processing, not storage. When you try cramming all your open loops into your head, you fill up that mental RAM until it's completely overloaded. The result? You feel scattered, overwhelmed, and constantly on edge, but you can't even explain why. Your mind ambushes you with thoughts about cat food during important meetings, then reminds you about the presentation when you're trying to fall asleep. It's a recipe for constant, low-grade misery. This relentless, unproductive mental chatter about everything we need to do is, according to experts, the single biggest drain on our time and energy. So what's the answer? Get it all out of your head. Everything. Not just the important stuff, not just the urgent things, 100% of it. You need a trusted system outside your mind to capture, clarify, and organize all your commitments. A system so reliable that your brain can finally stop being a terrible secretary and return to what it does best, being creative, focused, and truly present. This is the foundation of getting things done. It's a 5-step process: collect, process, organize, review, and do. Let's walk through each one. Step 1 is collect. Your mission is simple. Round up absolutely everything that has your attention. Every open loop, whether it's massive or microscopic, work-related or personal. Gather it all into what Alan calls a collection bucket. The most effective? A simple, physical in-basket. You'll do 2 sweeps. First, a physical sweep. Walk through your office, your home, your car. Grab every piece of mail, every sticky note, every business card, receipt, magazine you've been meaning to read, anything that doesn't have a permanent home, and dump it in your in-basket. If something's too big, like that broken printer you keep meaning to fix, just write "fix printer" on a piece of paper and toss that in. The second sweep is mental. Sit down with a stack of blank paper and empty your brain. Write down every single thing occupying mental real estate, 1 item per sheet. Call mom, finish budget report, plan vacation, learn Spanish, fix squeaky door, achieve world peace. Whatever it is, if it's taking up even a sliver of mental space, write it down and add it to the pile. This process can feel overwhelming at first. Watching that pile grow might trigger a wave of anxiety. But something else happens too: relief. For the first time, you can actually see the edges of your world. You've corralled the chaos into one place. Your brain starts realizing you're finally taking this seriously, and it begins to relax its death grip. But here's the thing: that collection bucket isn't a storage unit. It's a processing station. You have to empty it regularly. Which brings us to step 2, the absolute heart of the system: process. You take items from your in-basket one at a time, from top to bottom, and ask yourself a series of simple questions. There's one unbreakable rule: never put anything back into in. Pick up the first item. Ask yourself, what is this? A bill? An idea? A request? Get crystal clear. Then ask the most important question: is it actionable? Is there actually something you need to do about this? The answer is either yes or no, no middle ground. Let's follow the no path first. If it's not actionable, you have 3 options. First, trash. It's no longer needed. Throw it away without guilt. Be ruthless. When in doubt, throw it out. Second, incubate. Maybe you want to do something about this later, but not now. These are your brilliant but premature ideas. Trips you might take someday. Projects you can't start yet. These go on a special someday/maybe list. Your creative parking lot, storing possibilities without the pressure of commitment. You'll review it periodically to see if anything's ready to become active. Third, reference material. This is information with no action attached, but might be useful later. An article, a manual, contact info, meeting notes. This stuff needs a home. Alan is a huge fan of simple A to Z filing systems that are fast and easy to use. He loves label makers because they make files look clean and professional, which actually tricks your brain into wanting to file things. If filing something takes more than a minute, your system's too complicated. So that's the no path: trash, incubate, or reference. But what if the answer to "is it actionable" is yes? This is where things get really interesting. If something's actionable, you must immediately decide, what is the very next physical, visible action required to move this forward? This question is the secret sauce of getting things done. It's not plan the party. That's a project. The next action is call Sarah about catering, or email guests to save the date. It's not do my taxes. That's a project. The next action is find my accountant's phone number, or gather all receipts into one folder. The next action must be something physical, something you can actually picture yourself doing. This question is incredibly powerful. It forces clarity. It breaks overwhelming projects into manageable steps. It destroys procrastination by giving your brain something simple and concrete to grab onto, instead of a vague, intimidating blob. Once you've defined that next action, you have three choices: do it, delegate it, or defer it. Do it. This is the famous 2-minute rule. If the next action takes less than 2 minutes, do it immediately. Fire off that email, make that quick call, file that document. Why? Because it's more efficient than logging it, tracking it, and coming back to it later. This single habit alone can revolutionize your productivity. Delegate it. If it'll take longer than 2 minutes, ask, am I the right person for this? If not, hand it off. Send an email, leave a note, add it to an agenda. But here's crucial. When you delegate, track it on your waiting for list so you can follow up and make sure it actually gets done. Defer it. If it takes longer than 2 minutes and you're the right person, you'll do it later. Most of your to-do items land here, but you don't just dump them on one giant, overwhelming list. That's the old way, and it doesn't work. This brings us to step 3. Organize. Put reminders of your deferred actions into the right buckets. Instead of one endless list, organize actions by the context required to complete them. Think about it. You can't make phone calls while running errands around town. You can't work on your computer while waiting in line at the bank. Traditional to-do lists force you to scan through dozens of things you can't do, just to find the few you can. Instead, create several next actions lists based on context. Calls, any phone call you need to make. At computer, emails, documents, anything requiring a computer. Errands, anything you do when you're out. Bank, post office, grocery store. At home, tasks only possible at home, like fixing that leaky faucet. Agendas, this one's brilliant. For each key person in your life, your boss, your partner, your assistant, keep a running list of things to discuss. Next time you see them, pull out your list and cover everything at once instead of interrupting them 5 times a day. There's one other crucial bucket: the calendar. In the GTD world, your calendar is sacred territory. It's not a to-do list. Only 3 things go there: time-specific actions, appointments, day-specific actions, things that must happen on a certain day but not at a specific time, and day-specific information reminders or events you want to be aware of. That's it. Keep it clean, and you can trust it to show you the hard landscape of your day, the commitments around which everything else must flow. Finally, you need one more list, the projects list. A project in GTD terms is any outcome requiring more than one action step. Get new tires is a project. Plan birthday party is a project. Launch new product line is a project. The projects list isn't for action steps. It's simply an index of all your open loops. a master inventory of everything you're committed to achieving, from the tiny to the tremendous. Which brings us to step 4, the glue holding everything together, review. This system is alive. It needs regular maintenance to stay trustworthy. If your lists get outdated, your brain won't trust them, and it'll go right back to trying to remember everything. The key is the weekly review, non-negotiable. Once a week, set aside an hour or two to get your head empty again. Gather loose papers and notes, process your in-basket to zero, review all your lists, projects, next actions, waiting for, someday, maybe, and make sure everything's current and every project has a next action defined. David Allen points out that most people feel best about their work the week before vacation. Why? Because they take time to clean up, close loops, and clarify commitments. The weekly review is simply doing that every single week, instead of once or twice a year. It's the master key to sustainability, ensuring your system remains a tool of freedom rather than another source of stress. Finally, we reach step 5, do. After all the collecting, processing, organizing, and reviewing, you face the moment of truth. It's 10:30 on a Tuesday morning. What do you actually do? The beauty of this system is that it makes this choice simple and intuitive. You trust your gut, but with a full menu of viable options in front of you. Make your choice based on 4 criteria, in order. 1. Context. Where are you and what tools do you have? This immediately narrows your options. If you're at your computer, look at your at-computer list. 2. Time available. How much time before your next commitment? If you have 10 minutes, look for 10-minute tasks. 3. Energy available. Are you creatively energized or mentally drained? Match the task to your energy level. If you're fried, maybe make a few simple calls or process receipts. 4. Priority. Finally, with remaining options, ask, what will give me the highest payoff right now? This is where intuition, guided by clear goals and values, comes in. This connects to the highest level of the system, the 6 horizons of focus. This is how you link daily actions to life's purpose. Imagine viewing your life from different altitudes. The runway, your current actions, all those individual tasks on your lists. 10,000 feet, your current projects, short-term outcomes you're working toward. 20,000 feet, your areas of responsibility, key roles you play, parent, manager, team member, health, finances. 30,000 feet, your 1 to 2 year goals, medium-term achievements. 40,000 feet, your 3 to 5 year vision, longer-term career, family, and financial goals. 50,000 feet and above, your life purpose, why you're here, the ultimate game you're playing. The power of GTD is that it works from the bottom up. It helps you clear the runway, managing all those nagging actions and projects, so you finally have mental bandwidth to think clearly about the higher altitudes. It's hard to contemplate your life's purpose when you're worried about cat food. By capturing everything, clarifying the next action, and organizing it all into a trusted system you review regularly, you create conditions for a clear mind. You stop using your brain to remember the past and free it up to create the future. You achieve mind like water, ready for anything, undisturbed by things that don't matter. That's the art of stress-free productivity. As we wrap up our journey through getting things done, it's tempting to see this book as just a collection of clever productivity hacks, the 2-minute rule, context lists, the weekly review. And sure, on one level that's exactly what it is. These are incredibly practical, powerful techniques that can absolutely make you more organized and efficient. But seeing it only that way misses something deeper, almost spiritual, at the core of what David Allen has given us. At its heart, this book isn't really about getting more things done. It's about being more present with whatever you're doing right now. It's about freedom. The freedom that comes from knowing what you're doing is exactly what you should be doing, and what you're not doing is perfectly okay to not be doing. Think about the last time you felt truly relaxed, maybe on vacation, or spending time with someone you love. In that moment, your mind wasn't nagging you about unanswered emails or unfinished projects. You were fully there. The promise of this book is that you can have that feeling not just on vacation, but on a busy Tuesday afternoon. The real enemy, as Allen reveals, isn't lack of time, it's lack of clarity. The stress we feel is that low-grade hum of ambiguity, the anxiety of undefined commitments, and forgotten promises we've made to ourselves. What this system does, more than anything, is force clarity. By asking, "What's the next action?" you transform a vague source of anxiety into a concrete, physical step. Do taxes is stressful. Find accountant's phone number is easy. Same project, completely different mental experience. This is why the methodology is so empowering. It takes you from victim of circumstances to driver's seat. When you complain about something, you're implicitly saying it could be better. The GTD process gently asks, "Okay, so what's the next action to make it better?" It shifts you from passive complaint to active creation. If you want to start applying these principles today, you don't need to block off 2 days to overhaul your entire life. Start small. Here are a few things you can do right now. First, take just 2 minutes for a mini mind sweep. Grab paper and write down the top 5 things bouncing around in your head. Getting them out onto paper will give you a taste of the relief this system provides. Second, pick one of those items and ask the magic question, "What's the very next physical action I can take to move this forward?" Define it. Write it down. If it takes less than 2 minutes, do it now. Feel that small victory of closing a loop. Third, look around. Is there a pile of mail, a stack of papers, or a cluttered corner nagging at you? Take one item from that pile and process it. Actionable? No? Trash it, file it, or add it to someday/maybe. Yes? Decide the next action. These small steps, practiced consistently, are seeds of profound transformation. You're not just cleaning your desk, you're clearing your mind. You're building a system of trust with the most important person in your life, yourself. That was a summary of Getting Things Done by David Allen. We've covered the main ideas today, but I have to be honest. Listening to a summary is like looking at a picture of a wonderful meal. You can appreciate it, understand its components, but you can't truly experience it. The real magic happens when you read it yourself, in those quiet moments when a particular story or simple phrase connects with your own life in unexpected ways. This summary is your map, but the book is the journey. If anything we've talked about today resonated with you, I encourage you to grab a copy. Reading it isn't just about learning. It's an experience that can genuinely change your relationship with your world. Also, if you found this summary valuable, I'd be grateful if you could hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. It lets me know this work is making a difference and ensures you won't miss our next journey into another life-changing book. Let's keep growing together.